And now, the best 60-ish seconds of your week. And for 2 weeks in a row, we're going to start with sports. But how can we not? Today is the greatest day in college sports. The Final Four, and they're calling it the all-blue Final Four, which for a red state guy like me is a little offensive. But you've got Kansas and Villanova matching up. Both Kansas and Villanova have found their marches to the national championship through each other. Kansas defeating Villanova back in 2008, and then Villanova knocking off Kansas in 2016, and in the Final Four in 2018. And the other side of the bracket, you've got UNC and Duke, the first time ACC teams have met in the Final Four. It really promises to be an exciting day. And I always root for the Wildcats, and of course I will bleed Wildcat blue today. They've got a tough row because Justin Moore is out with an Achilles tendon injury that will knock him out for quite a while. But Jay Wright is still the best coach in the country, and Villanova always steps up, so hope springs eternal. And next week we'll know who was crowned as the NCAA champion of the 2021-22 season. And on to what you really want to talk about, the campaign here in Pennsylvania. And since we last spoke, we had a forum, they call them debates, but they're really not, at Cairn University in southeastern Pennsylvania, sponsored by the Pennsylvania Family Institute, which promotes family values in Pennsylvania. Hardly a radical organization. But after that debate, YouTube unilaterally took it down because here were the major party candidates from the Republican side discussing Pennsylvania's future, but that somehow was too much for YouTube. It offended their community standards. Think about that. The woke left, the cancel culture, wants us all to shut up, stand on the sidelines, not participate, and be silenced when we don't share their point of view. That's as un-American as it gets, and we've got a clear message for them. We're not going to be silenced. We're not going to be shut up. We're not going to be sidelined. We're not going to be marginalized. We're going to stand up and fight for individual freedom, for personal responsibility, for all of our liberties, which are at the core of who we are as Americans and as Pennsylvanians. So YouTube, forget about it. Your cancel culture won't work. You tried it, by the way, with CPAC. What was the big offense there that caused them to knock out an entire day, including a speech by myself on the main stage? Donald J. Trump spoke at CPAC, and they didn't like what he had to say. So they canceled it out. Think about it. Unless you agree with the big tech industry, you're just going to get canceled out. That's something that simply cannot allow to happen. And we've got to go after them. With the protections that they enjoy under federal law, they have to be stripped away so that free speech can once again be the law of the land and the rule of the day in political campaigns. Because after all, the people have a right to hear the candidates up close, unvarnished, unscripted, talking about the issues of the day. They get that chance in these forums and debates. They really don't otherwise because they're subjected to these 30-second ads that all of us have grown so sick and tired of. So let's move on, YouTube. The American people and the people of Pennsylvania want to hear directly from the candidates, and they have a right to hear directly from the candidates. And controversy over debates somehow becomes part of the silly season of every campaign. Like last week with the 4 Republicans who said, oh, we don't want to debate unless these conditions are met. By the way, those conditions haven't been met in any of the forums in which they've participated since. So you know it was just a political gimmick. And people are tired of political gimmicks. So I'll once again make it clear for every Pennsylvanian, every reporter, every news outlet, and every voter that I'll debate any legitimate candidate, meaning somebody that's on the ballot, anytime, any place, anywhere. I've got nothing to hide. I'm happy to answer any questions that people have. I'm happy to address any issue that comes up. I don't need a script. I don't need other people's words in order to speak. I'm there for the people of Pennsylvania to ask, to hear, to understand, and hopefully, in the end, to earn their support and their votes on Election Day. And finally, on the federal level, we're trying to move away from that stuff a little bit. The nomination for the Supreme Court of the United States of Judge Brown Jackson continues to move through the process. she's going to get confirmed. And frankly, it's a tragedy. If you've watched any of the hearings and have seen Senator Cruz, Senator Hawley, and others asking her the pertinent questions, Senator Kennedy comes to mind as well, she's failed on every front. Can't even tell us what the definition of a woman is. As a woman, that's really a pretty chilling thought. But unfortunately, the Democrats control the U.S. Senate at this point. They've got the votes, and there are a couple of Republicans that are now indicating that they're going to go over as well. So the final outcome isn't in too much of a question at this point. But it once again brings up the fact that the courts are very important. We saw it here in Pennsylvania, and we've got an issue to deal with our own Supreme Court. We'll take that up later, because for now, on Final Four Saturday, that is the best 60-ish seconds of your week.